G'day guys, Jason Ninja here. Today we've got 5 adductor exercises. So if you're struggling with any groin pain, these 5 exercises are beginner exercises. So we're going to start easier and build up. So they get a bit more advanced, they get pretty hard at the end. So we're going to challenge Ninja's groin because he's had a bit of a niggle himself. So we've worked with thousands of people that have had groin pain, whether it's osteitis pubis or acute groin injuries. So yeah, we know pretty well how to sort of build that groin back up in terms of isolating the groin, and then we can do more global strengthening and exercises from there. So we're just focusing on the groin today. If you are interested in some of the other exercises we do, have a look through our channel and see what we've done previously to build up strength for osteitis pubis and groin pain. So Ninja, we're going to start with the foam roller. You're going to start on your side, and then we're going to, just to get the hips moving, so this is a foam roller, sliding exercise. So we want our hips at about 90 degrees, so bring your torso so you're up here, Ninja, so you're up there, yep. And then he's just going to slowly push his top knee forward, and then he's going to slowly come back. So he squeezes that adductor, and he slowly pushes forward. So we're trying not to round through his lower back too much. He's trying to just get some movement through this hip, and he slowly squeezes. So don't just do this really fast and do that. So this can be quite a nice exercise just to introduce some movement through the hips and the pelvis. Just to get those little small intricate muscles starting to work, and it's not too aggressive. How does it feel doing that there, Ninj?
Yeah, quite good.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
Yeah. So this is the easiest regression of this exercise. We'll get Ninja to do a few reps on each side just so you can feel how it feels either side. So you've been struggling with your right one, haven't you, Ninja?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to make sure that we get set up in our position each time. So 90 degrees, and then just slowly shifting forwards and backwards there. And we can just assess whether he feels, this one doesn't look like it moves as well when he comes backwards. Do you feel a bit stuck there, or not too bad?
Not too bad. I think when we've tested the left, it's been worse than the right, even though the right's been...
Yeah. So this is something to note, just seeing if there's any discrepancies from side to side.
Yeah, my feet my heels want to come off the ground.
Yeah. So we're trying to make sure these heels are staying in line, the feet are staying in the same distance apart, and he's just trying to move purely through the hip and the pelvis here, so not trying to roll through his lower back. That's it, so push that hip forward and then really squeeze that adductor back. Good. So yeah, you can do 10 to 20 reps of this, but it's just sort of about getting that movement pattern right, just slowly transitioning the hips and getting that right. We're starting to replicate what we want when we're walking and running and sprinting with our pelvis mechanics. So Ninja's going to roll onto his back. So he's doing a similar type of exercise. This one's a bit harder though. So he's going to have his same position, so 90 and 90. He's going to just lift his bum off just a couple of inches on the floor. So come around the side, Leo. And then what he's going to, so you keep your hips down, so just a little bit off the floor. So your lower back's almost in contact, but your hips are off. So he's getting a little bit of hamstring, a little bit of glute activation. And then he's going to slowly, whichever leg he wants to start with, he pushes one up and pulls one down. And then he slowly tries to transition the other way. And he's trying to keep his hips in a nice little box here and not shift side to side and sway. So he's trying to get that same movement pattern where his pelvis and his adductors and all those little muscles are starting to work. Good, Ninja. And slowly there. That's it. So we just keep slowly transitioning there. And yeah, I still remember the first time I ever tried this exercise and my hips just did not move. So it looks pretty simple, but sometimes your body just, if you're not used to doing these small little patterning exercises, sometimes it just takes the brain to actually figure it out and rewire that connection. So it can be something as simple as that, as getting this hip and pelvis moving. When we're walking and running, we know the hips and pelvis need to move in certain directions. So if you're unable to actually recreate this type of movement, that might be showing there's a bit of a block in your mechanics, or when you're running or walking or whatever it is that you're experiencing your pain in. So you can see Ninja's getting a bit freer there. So now we just want to make sure they're getting nice and big, but keeping it controlled. So pushing up. Good. Is that getting a bit easier now you're doing it a bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, your coordination gets better as you do it as well. And plus
So he's also not pinching this too hard either. It's just in there just lightly. So yeah, you don't feel like you have to squeeze that foam roller too much. All right, and then remembering to stay nice and relaxed. So don't be tensing the rest of your body just to try and get this exercise. So breathe, slowly moving through. That's looking pretty good there, Ninja. All right, the next exercise, we take it out of the foam roller, we get that away. Ninja rolls onto his side. So your right hip on the bottom, please, Ninja. First, yep. So he's going to get in a similar position. So bottom foot on the floor. This one's, up here. So he keeps them apart, and you're going to push that top hip forward. So your knee comes forward over your toes, keeping that distance. And then you're just going to slowly try and touch and then slowly lower back down. So we're just seeing how this one feels. We might just get him to hold there as an ISO, or we can just do some slow repetitions. Just seeing for how that's feeling for him. And he's keeping his feet in the same position. He's not moving his feet off the box. He's moving through that adductor. All right, getting some good activation in there. Nice. How's that feeling? Because you feel yours quite high up, don't you?
Yeah, so it's good when I just hold it there. I can really feel a squeeze right in up high.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
so
good
sometimes just holding as an isometric is actually a better thing because, if you have had a little strain or an irritation, isometrics provide a bit of an analgesic effect, and they're really good at building that endurance and the strength in that tendon again. So, rather than trying to continuously rep out, if you feel like those reps are maybe aggravating it or it's a little bit too soon to do some reps, just hold that ISO, and that's going to be really good for you and help to provide some pain relief. Good, and then we'll roll over, do the other side, man, so you're nice and balanced. Because we did see that the other side, when he was using the roller, he was a little bit less, so you push this hip forward. Yep, keep those knees a bit further apart, and then squeeze this bottom one up. Nice. And we're looking for control through the movement, so not letting that knee just flop back down. He squeezes up and then slowly, eccentrically loads it back down to the ground. Oh man,
it's interesting.
What are you feeling on
just
this one?
Just all the just different activation in the back and hip and abs a bit. Doesn't look like you're doing much, hey, but
no, it doesn't feel like much. Oh, it doesn't look like much, but it feels like a lot, especially if you're not used to doing this sort of adductor exercise. It can pretty quickly show if you've got some weaknesses or some inhibited muscles in there.
Yeah, this leg feels like it's doing a lot more exercise than when I was on the other way.
Yeah.
Like it's really holding tight.
Maybe bring this one down a little bit lower. I reckon you're probably a bit high on this one now.
Yeah.
See if that changes a little bit.
Yeah.
That a bit better? Yeah.
Yeah.
So getting that set up right. Nice, and have a rest there. All right, next we're moving on to a split stance hip hinge with a band. So we'll see you then. Stance hip hinge. So for Ninja's right adductor, the band is on the inside. So we want to pull the knee out. All right, so Ninja's going to walk out so there's tension on that band. So not too much to start with, but he wants to feel like it's just sort of pulling his knee away from being over that sort of mid and forefoot. So then he's going to move his left leg back so he's in a hip hinge position or a split stance position. And then he's just going to slowly hinge into this glute. So he's going through like our deadlift sort of patterning or our split stance hinging, and then he's squeezing back up. And as he goes through that range, he's got to really resist. So come back around the front, Leo. So he's got to really resist the knee getting pulled out, and he's got to maintain balance. So it's challenging. So he's loading into his glutes, but then he's also got to keep that adductor on. So this is starting to replicate a bit more of our movement mechanics. So let's have these arms like you're actually running there, Ninja. That's it. And then as you're squeezing back up nice and slow, so push through this forefoot. Nice. So if it's a bit too tight, maybe come back a little bit closer just so you're not as unbalanced there. And think about as much weight through this forefoot as possible. Good, and it's nice and slow movement. So squeeze, push through that forefoot. Nice. That's it. So go around the side now, Lee, so you can see that he's getting that hinge. He's keeping this knee sort of over this forefoot. He's not keeping all his weight back on the heel. So he's getting ready like he's going to sprint. All right. How are you feeling? Getting a little bit of activation in that adductor?
I can feel right up high.
Again, it's a bit of an ISO of the adductor, but we know our adductor magnus has so many actions that it does at the hip. It flexes the hip, but it also extends the hip as well. So this is sort of working full range of motion, getting that pelvis through different ranges. What we can also do is change it up. We can actually go into Ninja's one of his most disliked exercises is a rear foot lunge. So you just drop your knee. So instead of hinging at the hips, he drops his knee down. This is going to replicate a bit more of a squatting pattern, and then he stands back up from there. That's it. So this one's probably a bit more challenging for him. The hip mechanics change a little bit. He gets a bit deeper, and now he's got to really resist that knee getting pulled out. So instead of diving over, he's dropping down to the ground. And this is more, replicating a squat type pattern where he's getting a bit more load through the knee. How's that feel on the adductor there?
Yeah, I'm really feeling the glute.
Feeling the glute? Good, yeah, that's right. That's good.
Yeah, the previous one I was feeling the
adductor more?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
It's where I need it.
Yeah, that's right.
Hit ya.
So it's not, this is what we want to progress with in these exercises and this rehab mechanics, is you're not just loading the adductor the whole time. Because Ninjas does sprints, he does lifts, he does this sort of thing, we want to make sure that we train the body functionally and not just isolating just the groin. We want to have a look and see if there's any other patterns that are potentially being inhibited. When he was hinging there, we could see that he got a little bit unbalanced when the band was pulling him out. So that could be something that potentially when he's sprinting or he's still just lacking a little bit of stabilization through that pelvis. So the last exercise, again, one of Ninja's favorites is a Copenhagen plank. So let's get it set up. Copenhagen plank. We're getting down into a side plank sort of position here, Ninj.
Yep.
So you're getting down on the ground. He's tucking himself in,
Oh,
making
just so you
sure
can
nothing pops out. So we can start with either a straight leg or a bent leg. So bent knee is just going to help to not be as aggressive to start with. So he starts in this side plank position. What he's going to start to do is pull through this top hip, and then once he's found that stabilization, he can bring this bottom knee up to sort of 90 degrees. And then this arm's out in front, Ninja. Good. So we're getting some really good activation through this adductor, but we're also stabilizing through our core here. So just open up there so you're in a nice straight position. Yep. Really good. How are we feeling on that one, Ninja?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So this is quite an advanced exercise. If you are struggling, you can still probably keep this bottom knee with a little bit of contact on the ground just to give you that little bit of a lead in if you're not fully ready to completely load it. But yeah, this is the more aggressive one. Have a quick rest there, Ninj. So another one you can do is if you actually I'll jump in front, so you can actually get, so your knee's bent here, so you're actually on the bent knee itself, like that,
yeah.
And then you lift up from here. So now he's actually getting the whole shin on the table.
Like that?
Yeah, that's it. So that'll target those. Yeah, there you go.
That feels more comfortable.
Yeah. That's better. And then that hip forward, good. That's it.
We can actually do...
You can start to do some reps, yeah, but to start off with, you probably want to keep it as an ISO, and then once you start to advance and you're feeling a bit stronger, you can slowly start to, go through even just smaller ranges. You might not go all the way to the ground, you might just drop a little bit and then go up from there. Nice, Ninja.
That'll do, I
There
reckon.
you go. And then we're going to do one more with your leg completely straight. So your ankle's just going to be on the table there. So now we've got a bit more leverage. So again, it requires a bit more activation. So knee straight, yep. Ankle on the table, pull through that hip, straighten this bottom leg. Oh, sorry, bend this bottom knee, yep. Nice. That's it, dig in, there you go. Hold, 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. There it is, guys. That
didn't feel the upper.
He's using his abs, that's good. But so there's 5 exercises if you're struggling with groin pain or you've been battling some osteitis pubis. Yeah, give these exercises a go, start to load the groins. But yeah, as I said, if you've seen some of our other videos, go through the more functional stuff as well to add in the deadlifts and the squats and that type of thing. But this is just for particularly targeting those adductors. So thank you, we'll see you next time.
Done.